Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Today, inshallah, we're going to be discussing a very sensitive subject, which is the issue of Ijazah. This is commonly discussed amongst Muslims in their circles, and today we have a brother here, Ilyas, who will be giving us some formal background and responding to some of the questions we have in relation to this subject. So inshallah, without further ado, I'll pose the first question to the brother, and inshallah we'll get started. So brother, the first question I have is, one allowed to actually talk about the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or any aspects of Islam, without permission from scholars? In other words, is there anything definitive from the Quran and Sunnah which specify the Ijazah?
Okay. Bismillah. Well, let's start with something very important. There is a hadith that was supposed to be put with this few hadith that people say the religion is built on. You might have heard that some that people refer to as scholars that have put some names, some hadiths from the Prophet, such as إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, for example. They will say that Islam is built on one of these hadiths. There is one hadith that I have never seen mentioned that way, which Islam is very important, a hadith that comes in many subjects. That hadith is the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, which is in Bukhari. It says, كُلُّ شَرْطٍ لَيْسَ فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ فَهُوَ بَاطِلٌ. Every condition that is not in the book of Allah is invalid. وَلَوْ كَانَ مِئَةَ شَرْطٍ. Even if it's 100 conditions. The book of Allah, Kitabullahi awthaq. The book of Allah is more rights, or you say has priority on every condition that a human being puts. Now, this hadith is a very important hadith. Rasulullah said it regarding a matter of a slave that tried to free herself, and her masters tried to put a condition. But this is a general hadith. As we know in the Sharia, al-ibra bi'umum al-lafz la bi-khusus al-sabab. Don't tell me the ulama have put this. No. This is the Arabic language. The Arabic language, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says something, if Allah says وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ, and whoever doesn't judge with what Allah has revealed, those are the disbelievers. We are not going to say, oh, this ayah came after the mentioning of the Jews or Christian, because in that way, the religion, the Quran will not cover almost anything. If you just take the ayah or the hadith regarding like the matter where they were revealed, you just associate them to that matter. You have to take them generally. Now, the hadith here is general. Any condition that is not in the book of Allah is invalid. So anyone who puts a condition in the religion, you ask him, where did you get this condition from? Where did you get that a person should not speak about religion without permission from what you call scholars or ulama? If we read the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran that is to the whole humankind. The Quran that when it starts, it says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. That Quran tells us that Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal mu'idati al hasana. Call to the way of your Lord with wisdom. Bil mu'ida, with mu'ida and hikmah. You will understand it, you will translate it later. And hikmah, which is wisdom. You call to the way of your Lord with wisdom, good wisdom. Now, this is what Allah ordered us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ. Say, this is my way. I call to Allah, عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ, with knowledge. Not anyone is going to call to the way of Allah. Anybody can call to the way of Allah, but ala basira, knowingly, he has to know what he is calling for. That also goes for everybody. It goes for Umar ibn Khattab, it goes for Ibn Abbas, it goes for anyone who has probably studied one matter or two matters in the religion. If you talk about something, you have to talk about it with knowledge. So a person who has studied in his life one matter, one subject, he just learned about wudu and he learned about it properly, he can talk about wudu. And Ibn Abbas, who he is very, very knowledgeable, he can't talk about things that he doesn't know. But he can talk about the things that he knows from the Quran and Sunnah. Allah ordered us to go towards Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden us from hiding the knowledge. Once you have acquired knowledge, and there is not only one way of acquiring knowledge, once you have acquired knowledge, you have to spread it. You don't need any permission from anyone because Allah has given you that permission. The Ijazah, which is permission. Allah has given you that permission and He threatened you if you don't spread the knowledge that you will be punished. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذْ أَخَذَ اللَّهُ مِيثَاقَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ لَتُبَيِّنُنَّهُ لِلنَّاسِ. And then when Allah has taken the mithaq, He has taken from them a covenant from the people who have been given the book. That is not Bani Israel, Quran or the Christians. Anyone who has been given the book. أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ. وَإِذْ أَخَذَ اللَّهُ مِيثَاقَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ لَتُبَيِّنُنَّهُ. Indeed, you will show it to people, you will explain it to people. وَلَا تَكْتُمُونَهُ. And you should not hide it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَكْتُمُونَ مَا أَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَالْهُدَى. Those who hide what we have revealed, sent down from the bayinat, from the clarifications, the verses, وَالْهُدَى and guidance, أُولَئِكَ يَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّهُ. Those will be cursed by Allah. وَيَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّاعِنُ. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, مَنْ رَأَى مِنْكُمْ مُنْكَرًا فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ. Whoever sees something wrong, he should change it with his hand. If he can't, he should change it with his tongue. As long as he knows that this is a munkar, the person should know that this is a munkar, based on the Quran and Sunnah. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in another hadith, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً. Like, this is for everybody. بَلِّغُوا, convey from me. Even if one verse, if that is what you know one verse, you convey one verse. If you know more, you convey more. It is an obligation on the religion. This religion, the Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy Anil Munkar. This is why this ummah is the best ummah, is the best nation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. You were the best nation, you are the best nation raised to humankind, to mankind. تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. Because you forbid the evil and you enjoin the good. That is why this ummah is better than the other nations. That is da'wah, isn't it? That is teaching people, that is telling people this is haram, this is wrong, you should not do this. That is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is why He made this nation better than other nations. Bani Israel were cursed because they forgot about this order. لُعِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ عَلَى لِسَانِ دَاوُودَ وَعِيسَى بْنِ مَرْيَمَ ذَلِكَ بِمَا عَصَوْا وَكَانُوا يَعْتَدُونَ. Cursed the Bani Israel on the tongue of Isa, on the tongue of Dawood and the Isa ibn Maryam. ذَلِكَ بِمَا عَصَوْا وَكَانُوا يَعْتَدُونَ. That is because of their disobedience and their transgressing. كَانُوا لَا يَتَنَاهَوْنَ عَنْ مُنْكَرٍ فَعَلُوهُ. They used not to forbid each other from a munkar, from evil deeds when they do it. That is why Allah cursed them. And these people who tell us that you need a permission from someone to change the munkar, this is what they want to happen to us. They want us to be cursed, like Bani Israel. Some people misunderstand. There is an ayah in the Quran also that says, وَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. Let be amongst you an ummah, a group, يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ, to call to good. وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And those are those who are the successors, the one who will succeed. Now this ayah, it doesn't contradict the other ayat. It doesn't contradict the hadith of the Prophet, مَنْ رَأَى مِنْكُمْ, whoever sees a munkar should change it. This ayah, it just tells us that there must be a group of people that is their duty. The leader, those that are appointed by the leader, the police, going in the street, making sure that nobody does something wrong, the teachers of religion, there must be an ummah. The judges, those are there to stop people from doing munkar. The other people are like, they will be doing their business, looking after their lives. But if they see the munkar, they have to change it. Now, these people who are the ummah, that will change, the group that are supposed to change the munkar, also, if you come and tell him you need ijazah, to teach people, no, there is no ijazah to teach people, because that is a condition that is not in the book of Allah. You don't need permission. You have already the permission from Allah that you have to carry out a duty, this order, this obligation. This is an amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar, which is not only teaching really, is teaching, is judging, is leading, is jihad. All this is covered by amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar. This is an obligation. This is a pillar of Islam. Pillars of Islam are not 5. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has threatened that the nation will be destroyed if without an amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar, that's what makes things a pillar. A nation without it will not survive, will perish. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ لِيُهْلِكَ الْقُرَى بِظُلْمٍ وَأَهْلُهَا مُصْلِحُونَ. That Allah will not destroy cities. لِيُهْلِكَ الْقُرَى, destroy these cities, or make these cities perish, the villages or cities, بِظُلْم, because of wrongdoing, as long as the people within it are reformers, muslihun, not salihun, muslihun. They change, they talk about munkar, they talk about, they try to change it. If someone comes and ask you about ijazah, generally, I said this before actually, that you find that generally, well, this ijazah doesn't come except from 2 groups, really. Mostly the new Salafis, not the real Salafis. I mean, they are much better than those. And and the Sufis who say Sheikh from Sheikh from Sheikh. If you don't have Sheikh, you have Sheikh. It's Shaitan is your Sheikh. And generally, if you look at these people, most of them has no ijazah whatsoever. I mean, these new Salafis, if you take them now, new Salafis, they have a Sheikh, very famous Sheikh. He has no ijazah. He has never studied anywhere with a Sheikh, and he doesn't have ijazah. It doesn't mean that he has no authority to talk. He can talk, he can give his opinion, and people will have to look at it and decide when he is right, when he is wrong, and sometimes he is right. But it's weird that it comes from people who don't have ijazah actually. Yeah? Asking others to have ijazah. So ijazah in the religion, ijazah is bid'ah. It is enough, according to the usul of one of these groups, is that anything that the Prophet has not done, or the Sahaba have not done, then it is a bid'ah. Now, if you look at the Prophet's time, of course, when I say that everybody can talk about the religion, he has to talk about, I said it, with knowledge. You have to go and acquire knowledge. Now, if you start by knowing Arabic, because the Quran is Arabic, it's not English. The translations, no matter how perfect you try to perfect it, you won't be able. Because the wordings of the Quran and the understanding of the Quran, the Arabic language, with one word have so many meanings. So if you learn Arabic and you can study the Quran and Hadith, all you need is at the beginning to know Arabic. Remember that the people that the religion came from, the Sahaba, who are Arabs. The Prophet ﷺ will be there, people will come and ask him questions. Many of these questions comes from the Bedouins, Arab. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Al-A'rabu ashaddu kufran wa nifaqa. The Bedouins are most into like the ashaddu kufran. Their kufr is worse than any kufr. Wa nifaqa, and hypocrisy. وَأَجْدَرُ أَنْ لَا يَعْلَمُ حُدُودَ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ. And more likely not to understand what Allah has revealed to His Prophet. They are more likely not to understand it. These Bedouins, they are good in Arabic. They will come to the Prophet. He will tell them something. They will ask a question. He will answer. That answer, we have it. That answer, we have it in Hadith, in Bukhari, in Muslim. He will recite Quran to them. But Quran is between our hands. He doesn't explain to them. Any explanation that he explains, it is with us, so we have to look at it. He doesn't tell them, okay, I have spoken to you. Now you have to get Ijazah from Abu Bakr or Umar or Shafi'i or Malik. He doesn't tell them that. He tells them what he says, which we have, and he tells them to go and apply it. So there is no Ijazah from the Prophet. There was no Ijazah in the time of the Prophet. There was no Ijazah until the time of Sahaba. The Sahaba who were happy, Umar ibn Khattab, anyone will stop him and tell him, this is a hadith. And what all he has to, because he was very careful, he will just make sure, ask the person to go and get someone else to testify that the Prophet have said this. He will not tell him, who are you? Do you have Ijazah? He doesn't say that. All he is required to say to check that the hadith is authentic and act upon it. That is the Ijazah. Ijazah doesn't exist. Actually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken badly about the people who seek Ijazah, who seek further understanding after they have heard something that is clear and understandable. In Surah Muhammad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَسْتَمِعُ إِلَيْكَ. There is amongst them those who listen to you. حَتَّى إِذَا خَرَجُوا مِنْ عِنْدِكَ, until they get out from where you are. قَالُوا لِلَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ مَاذَا قَالَ آنِفًا. They will ask the people of knowledge, what did he say before? أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ طَبَعَ اللَّهُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ. These that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sealed their hearts. If you hear something and you understand it, that's it. You take it, you understand, and you act upon it. If you don't understand it, go and search the understanding. What people have understand, it might help you. Now, if you go and search and understand, what do you need more? You have learned, you just go and spread this knowledge. It's an obligation on you. So this Ijazah matter that people have brought is a bid'ah in the religion, especially from people who makes everything bid'ah. And they came to the proper bid'ah and they fell into it.
I think you've covered the next question, but I have to ask for the sake of the audience. What is the actual definition of Ijazah? What are the roots and where does this come from?
You mean from the Arabic language?
From the Arabic language, and contextually from potentially the first use of it in the Muslim world. Okay.
Well, the Ijazah from the Arabic language, from the wordings, it comes from the word Ajaza. Ajaza is to cross. We say Ajaza al-Wadi. He crossed the valley. Someone crossing. It has, the word Ajaza has too many different meanings. Ajaza is crossing. Ajazahu is, we say, he gave him his gift. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر. We say Ajaza al-Wadi, crossing the valley. You say Ajaza al-Dhaif. He gave Ijazah to Jaiza. Ajaza means also giving Jaiza. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه جائزته. Whoever believes in Allah and in the hereafter, he should honor his guest, give him his Jaiza, his prize or his gift. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was dying, he said, أجيز الوفد بنحو ما كنت أجيزهم. like honor the guests. Because the Prophet ﷺ dying, there are people at that time, so many Muslims coming, groups coming. So he said there was a specific group he was relating to. He said, honor them and give them their prize the way that I used to honor the other guests. He couldn't do it himself. That is ijazah, is to give jaizah as well. Jaizah is to give permission or to accept someone's decision. Rasul ﷺ, when he was in Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, there was Suhail ibn Amr. He was making this agreement with him. His son, the son of Suhail ibn Amr, who is a Muslim, running from his father to the Prophet. Now, in the agreement, they made an agreement verbally that whoever comes to the Muslims, he should be sent back.
Of course, yes.
Now, Abu Jandal came quickly to the Prophet, and the Prophet told Suhail ibn Amr, Ajizhuli, like accept my decision to keep him with me. Now, when it comes to the ijazah that we talk about, there is no such ijazah the way people talk about it now. There was ijazah in hadith. When we speak about hadith, there are various ways of learning hadith. One will be tahdith. A person will be sitting and telling his students the hadith. حدثنا so and so and so. There is qira'ah, al-'arth and qira'ah. Qira'ah where, for example, the muhaddith, that is, for example, is known, Malik used to do that.
Yes.
Malik will be sitting, and one of his students, he will say, حدثك نافع from Ibn Umar. Nafi' told you. And then Malik at the end, he will say, yes, he did. That's all. That is 'ard. There is munawala. Someone will give someone a book and say, narrate this from me. And there is ijazah. Ijazah is when someone gives permission to someone to narrate from him, without even probably bothering to read the book for him. Just read. I gave you permission to narrate from me my books.
Understood.
This is ijazah. It is well known. It goes back well before. I mean, it was not used at the beginning of Islam at the time.
Sure.
It was used later when the hadith was already in the books. Bukhari was there, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Ibn Hibban, Ibn Khuzaymah. So people, now, there were no need for people to go and read the hadith from the shuyukh. So they just give them ijazah. You find that the mutaakhirin, the latest ones, such as either Ibn Hajar or before him, Ibn Dhahabi, Ibn Kathir, they have taken the hadith through ijazah.
Okay.
Because it is one single isnad taking to a book, leading to a book. They still do it today, which is useless because most of the narrators in the isnad, nobody knows about them. That is ijazah. It was known at the time of Shafi'i because according to Rabi', the student of Shafi'i, Shafi'i says it is invalid. It's not allowed. Shu'ba used to say it's not allowed. Ibrahim al-Harbi, al-Mawardi from the Shafi'is. So, but the majority accept ijazah as a form of narrating hadith. Now, when it comes to the ijazah, the specific ijazah of narrating hadith that we are talking about, it comes from this word. Ibn Faris says that ijazah comes from استجزته فأجازني. I asked him about asking someone to give you water. So to pass the water for your cattle.
Okay.
Someone who has water, and you ask him to let it pass through to your land. Or there is the ijazah, which is permission. Now it's the crossing, like crossing. Give me your knowledge. That is ijazah. Like the one, the Arabs will say, give me the water. استجزته فأجازني, about the water. That is what. And the other one is permission. Is permit me, give me permission to narrate your knowledge or to teach your knowledge to others. So that is the story about ijazah really, and from the Arabic language that is definition of ijazah. Yes.
Moving on to the next question. Closely connected with the idea of ijazah is the matter of not just obtaining authorization from a scholar, as we've discussed, but from a particular madhab.
Yes.
People seem to link this quite commonly today. Are Muslims required by the Sharia to adopt or adhere to a school?
You won't find really properly, you won't find anyone of these knowledgeable people within the madhab that have said that you have to follow a madhab. You won't find the biggest muhaddithin and fuqaha of the ahnaf such as Tahawi or Zayla'i, the most trustworthy among the ahnaf anyway, or from the Shafi'is such as Ibn Kathir or Dhahabi. Actually, Dhahabi has written a book about answering those who say that the ijtihad has stopped. He wrote a book about it, saying that this is like a bid'ah, answering back to them and say that they have brought no proof about. It's a full book about this. People started saying, those people, the first people who brought this issue, that after the four madhahib, people should stop doing ijtihad and just follow. This person should have been stopped and asked question, what you are saying, is it the saying of one or more of the four madhahib? If he says no, then we will say, then you are contradicting yourself. You say nobody should do ijtihad after the four madhahib, and you are doing ijtihad. You have made a big decision in religion that you can't even relate to one of the four. The four have said something different. I mean, if Abu Hanifa have said it in his time, then had made this decision, then Malik and Shafi'i and Ahmad bin Hanbal will be invalid. If Malik and Abu Hanifa have said it, or if Malik said it, then the two after him will be invalid because they were not in the same time.
Who got there first.
Yeah. But this is actually another bid'ah.
Sure.
The rulers have used it because they were afraid of people rising against them, so they had to put some scholars, and they didn't want people to have opinions. They have to follow these four madhahibs, and you know, because every madhab, every one of these teachers was fascinated with his imam, and he understands what he has learned. He will bring closely the people that have his same understanding. This is normal in people.
It's human nature.
You understand something, you think that you are right, and you want everybody to be right the way you are. So they will bring people close to them. He will get a position. It was just a coincidence,
Sure.
in a way that Abu Yusuf became the highest judge in the land. It was also that the Malikis, Ibn Ashhab and the followers went to Africa, and they became rulers there. And now the truth in Africa is Maliki, is the people of Africa, North Africa, are designed to understand the understanding of Malik, and the people in Asia to understand the way of Abu Hanifa. No, it's not. It's the rulers. If the ruler has a madhab, people have no choice except to follow it. Especially the general public, they have to go to teachers, to go to the mosque and ask the imam. They have to go to a judge. If the judge now has a madhab, they have no choice except to accept it.
Precisely.
Because they will have no other way. There was no internet then, there was no YouTube.
Yes, that's correct.
So it was, at that time you have to follow whoever is ruling in your area. And people didn't see big deal, like following this madhab or that madhab or this sheikh or that sheikh. However, the madhab is really something, when you look at it, nobody has to have a madhab. A person Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make it an obligation on every single Muslim to learn the religion, totally. The whole religion, or to try to learn as much as he can. That is not an obligation on every single Muslim. That is an obligation on one or more person from every area. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَا كَانَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ لِيَنْفِرُوا كَافَةً. The believers don't have to go forth all together. فَلَوْلَا نَفَرَ مِنْ كُلِّ فِرْقَةٍ مِنْهُمْ طَائِفَةً. Then why not from every group, طائفة, which means one or more, go forth, seek the knowledge, فلولا ليتفقهوا في الدين, to get understanding in the religion, وَلْيُنْذِرُوا قَوْمَهُمْ إِذَا رَجَعُوا إِلَيْهِمْ, so they can warn their people when they come back to them. So seeking the religion is fard kifaya, not fard ayn. Some people have to learn the religion and then come back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also told us, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask people of dhikr if you don't know. But He ordered us to ask people of dhikr. And dhikr is what Allah has revealed. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ. We are the one who sent down the dhikr. And we are the protectors of it. So the dhikr is the Quran and Sunnah, as we explained before. Now that dhikr is protected, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us to, if we don't know, not when you know. If you know, you don't have to go anywhere. Just people say, go and get ijazah and stuff. No. If you know, you know. If you don't, then you have to ask those who know. They are called Ahl al-Dhikr. They are not called the people who have memorized what Ibn Taymiyyah have said, or the people who have memorized what Ibn Hazm have said, or the people who have memorized what Shafi'i have said. No, you don't ask these people. You ask the one who, when you ask him, he will say, Allah have said, that is dhikr. The Prophet have said, that is dhikr. You understand? You don't ask people who have memorized the sayings of the madahib of the people. That is not the religion of Allah. Even if they are right. Even if when they are right. If you don't know what they are saying, actually this is what people attribute to them that they have said, isn't it? Correct. People say Abu Hanifa and Malik and Shafi'i and Ahmed ibn Hanbal said you should not take different wordings. Allahu A'lam, who said it? I mean, some of these narrators are sahih, some of them are not. But yeah, the people always put this in their, attributed to their imams, that they have said, don't take from me until you know when I took it, where I took it from. Now, if you know where he took it from, then it's not his saying anymore. It is the Quran and Sunnah. Don't attribute it to him.
So the one thing we can conclude from the issue of adherence or the issue of madhabs is it's very closely linked with ijtihad. Ijtihad is an obligation on every single Muslim. That is the thing. People misunderstand what is ijtihad. Sure.
You see, there are words in the Quran that are Arabic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has changed the meaning of these words. Now, if you look at the word zakat, if you talk to a mushrik from Arab in Jahiliyyah, you tell him zakat, he won't understand that is an amount of money that you give to the poor.
Okay.
Because zakat means cleansing, like tahara. Huh? If you mention salat, a mushrik in Arabic, from the Arabs before Islam, you tell him salat, he will think dua. He will not know that we know that they didn't used to face the qibla, the wudu before that, and pray 4 rak'ah or 3 or 2. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have changed the meanings of these words. No? They are still in Arabic language. We have sometimes we have to look at the text to check whether it means the Arabic, to take the Arabic meaning or the Shar'i meaning, we call it. But doesn't mean now that we know that Allah have changed the meaning or the meanings. The Sharia has moved some words to a different meaning. That now every time you hear a word, you will say, in the Sharia it means this. You have to prove it. The Quran is Arabic. Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyya. It is Arabic Quran. The Sunnah is Arabic because the Prophet was Arab. If you hear a word, you have to take it the way the Arab will understand it, unless you have proof about it. That no, here it doesn't mean that. Now, ijtihad, we don't have anything to show that ijtihad actually means anything other than what an Arab will understand. The Prophet, there is a hadith which is in Bukhari, well, it's in Bukhari and Muslim. The hadith is clear that the Prophet said, إِذَا حَكَمَ الْحَاكِمْ, and this hadith, people, you see, when the alim makes ijtihad, this is how you hear it, isn't it? Well, there is no, that word doesn't exist really. إِذَا حَكَمَ الْحَاكِمْ, the Prophet says, when the hakim makes a decision, because hukum is decision making. إِذَا حَكَمَ الْحَاكِمْ, if a jurist And jurist doesn't mean a judge or anyone who makes a decision is a jurist. So إذا حكم الحاكم فاجتهد, and then he does اجتهاد, فأصاب فله أجران, and then he gets it right, he will get 2 rewards. إذا حكم الحاكم فاجتهد فأخطأ, then he got it wrong. He does اجتهاد, he makes a decision based on his اجتهاد, and he gets it wrong, he will get 1 reward. Everybody is a decision maker. Decision making, حكم in Arabic, as I said, is to make a decision. In the English language, حكم is judgment, isn't it?
Yes.
When you say a judgment, doesn't mean a judge in the court.
It's general.
In Arabic, in English, when I tell you, in my judgment, the lights is too bright. That is a judgment.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I can say, in my judgment, this person there is not comfortable or whatever. The judgment, I might be right, I might be wrong. Now, when you make a judgment in the religion, because every hadith from the Prophet generally concerns religion, the Prophet doesn't talk about dunya,
Sure.
then you have to do ijtihad. And ijtihad in Arabic is today to strive, to do your utmost, whatever you can. One will have to sit and think about the hadith. Sometimes you don't know, because you don't have to do anything, because you already know it. Yeah? Sometimes you have to try. Okay, I heard someone ask me a question, I don't know it, I will go everywhere where I think that I can find it. That is ijtihad. I want to do something and I know someone in London who knows it, and I am in Slough. I walk all the way to, that is ijtihad. I spend extra efforts. If I can call him, that is an effort to call him and spend 5p to get to him, and that is ijtihad. It's not ijtihad to come and say, oh, this matter, Allah has not said anything about it. No, there is nothing that Allah has said nothing about it. Allah has said something about everything. The religion is halal and haram. In a way or another, it will lead to halal or haram at the end. And everything is halal until proven haram. That is because Allah said in clear verse, وَقَدْ فَصَّلَ لَكُمْ مَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ. He has detailed to you what is forbidden for you. So if you don't find it detailed as haram, then it is halal. What is left? Everything in the religion comes under that. There are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has informed us about. Information not related to halal and haram. This happened, this will happen. That we believe. If you can't understand it, it doesn't matter. When it happens, you will know it. So you just have to believe it the way it is. So you don't go and start trying to talk about Allah without knowledge. And you have to know that anything that is required in the religion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has كُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَصَّلْنَاهُ تَفْصِيلًا. Everything He has detailed it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ وَنَزَّلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. We have sent this book down to you to clarify everything. So everything is clarified. If you don't know it, the Rasul says, الْحَلَالُ بَيِّنٌ وَالْحَرَامُ بَيِّنٌ. Halal is clear, and haram is clear. وَبَيْنَهُمَا أُمُورٌ مُتَشَابِهَاتٌ. And in between there are matters that are not that clear. لا يعلم ambiguous. لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس. Many people will not know them. Some people will know them. They are clear enough. I mean, people in their understanding, yes. Now those who these matters are clear to them, they can talk about them. Those that these matters are not clear to them, they don't have to think, oh, I am the best. If I can't understand it, nobody will have to can understand it. And let me now just find a way to make it halal or haram or to make a decision. No. There is sometimes the least that you can think of might show you a solution for a matter. You might sit there thinking about a matter you don't know. Ibn Abbas, who is very, very knowledgeable, nobody has doubt about that. What happens is, sometimes Akrima, he will not know and understand an ayah. Akrima will explain to him, and he will be surprised. Akrima is just one of his students from a Berber from North Africa, a slave. Abu Salama ibn Abd al-Rahman. Ibn Abbas hears the hadith about divorce, about the عدة المتوفي عنها زوجها, the person, the woman in her period, from death, husband dying, and then she gives birth, and he knows the ayat in the Quran, and he comes to a wrong decision. And one tabi'i, just one of his students, he's there. He said, I don't agree. And then they go do ijtihad. Both of them do ijtihad by sending someone to Salama to ask. And then he comes back with the hadith from the Prophet agreeing with what Abu Salama ibn Abd al-Rahman have said and showing that Ibn Abbas was wrong. So this religion is not for specific people. The religion is for everybody. Anyone who wants to go and learn. Of course, this is a very important thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us. Quran and Arabiya is Arabic. You want to learn religion? If you want to follow, that is your choice. There is no harm. Follow someone who will give you the dalil, the proof. But if you want to learn, start by learning Arabic language. And then the religion is there for you.
Shaykh, on the same subject,
Yes.
Many people argue on the basis of the following hadith, that the ulama are inheritors of the prophets, and it is only they who have the right to speak authoritatively upon the matter of the deen.
But who are the ulama?
Precisely.
Who are the ulama? That is the question. Now the hadith that did you mention hadith?
There was a hadith, yes, mentioned. And one of the reasons for our decline, well, they argue this hadith.
You said the hadith, ulama warathatul anbiya.
Correct, yes.
Now
they support this argument, this hadith, by mentioning that if we don't do this, we'll become self-taught and we'll take this deen into various different directions. Which
we have gone to various directions. We have seen that actually. Don't think that what you are seeing today is different to what happened before. I mean, the human being who are not perfect, not malaika, who have this envy and jealousy, and what happened, for example, look at Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Hazm, when they just tried to go out of the madhab. And then there was these madhabis who have no knowledge at all, and they can't present themselves, they can't show something. They were jealous of them. What they have done to them? They just go to the leaders, they go to prison, and look at what happened today. Few years ago, 2 years ago, if you talk about someone, about the rulers, this is haram, going out against the rulers, everybody will say that. If someone speaks against the ruler, he is Khawarij, he is Mubtadi', he is... That includes the Salafis in Egypt, isn't it?
Yes.
Once the rulers were brought down by people who just got fed up with them, everybody, I was oppressed, I couldn't talk. We don't know them. Maybe everybody was oppressed. You can't believe anyone. That is why what I'm saying. Just let's go to the Quran and Sunnah. The Quran is not oppressed. The Quran will say the truth. No matter what. The Sunnah, the Prophet was not afraid of anybody. He told us the truth. Let's just go back to the Quran and Sunnah. Everybody else, just forget about them because they change according to the circumstances. They are still in Syria, for example, now. After the government will calm down, everybody will say, I was with you, I was inna kunna ma'akum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the hypocrites in Surah Al-Ma'idah. I just can't remember the ayah right now. يَتَرَبَّصُونَ بِكُمُ الدَّوَائِرِ. Yes.
Is there any validity to this hadith? Is it strong?
No, the hadith actually, let's go back to the hadith first. The hadith in al-warathatu al-ulama warathatu al-anbiya. Hadith narrated by Abu Dawud and Tirmidhi. Now this hadith is full of ilal, of defections. One, the hadith is Asim bin Raja' bin Hayawa. Asim bin Raja' bin Hayawa is da'if according to Ibn Ma'in. He said about him, Suwaylih. Salih will be just almost okay. Suwaylih is even further down.
Right, okay.
So that is Ibn Ma'in. Ibn Ma'in also said actually a general ruling. He said every asim in the world is weak when it comes to hadith here. So that is Ibn Ma'in considering him to be weak. There is Qutayba said about him that he is weak. Ibn Hibban mentioned him in the book of the trustworthy. And that's where people get this misunderstanding. They say وثقه Ibn Hibban. Ibn Hibban consider him to be thiqa. Ibn Hibban, even though very easy when it comes to the first generations, making them trustworthy for no reason, but it doesn't mean if he mentions someone in the book of trustworthy that he consider him to be trustworthy until he says that.
Right.
Because he has two books, one of the thiqat, one of the du'afa and majruhin, the weak people. And now in the book of thiqat he will mention anyone that his hadith can be taken, even if it has to be taken only if there is further support. He will mention him in the book of thiqat. But this hadith actually, you won't find support for for Asim bin Abi, Asim bin Raja bin Hayawa. So that is the first week. The second one is Dawud bin Jamil, or Jamil bin Dawud.
Okay.
He is weak, according to Daraqutni. Daraqutni said Dawud bin Jamil and the one above him are du'afa. Al-Azdi said he is weak. And Ibn Hibban mentioned him in the book of Thiqat. And then the one who is above that, Kathir ibn Qais. Daraqutni said he is weak. Because he already said the one and the above him. Yeah, that is the hadith of Abu Darda. This hadith is weak. And let's say someone might not agree. Might say Bukhari narrated it. Bukhari never narrated it. Bukhari just did iqtibas. He took just the wording. He said al-ulama warath al-anbiya. He never attributed to the Prophet. But now, who are the ulama? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. This ayah can be translated in two ways. Those who fear Allah are ulama. Those who have knowledge fear Allah. So, those who fear Allah are the knowledgeable people, the ulama. Or the ulama, meaning those who have knowledge, fear Allah. Now, what Allah says is the truth. Knowledge, in this ayah, doesn't say religion. It says knowledge. Now, is everybody who has knowledge? Because anyone who knows something is a alim. Someone who knows how to sweep is a alim about cleaning. Someone who knows how to cook is a alim about cooking. Is there everybody in this life, in this dunya, probably even the crazy people know something. A crazy know how to go home and come back. So you can call him alim because he knows.
He knows the roots.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about customs. People give the name scholar to specific people.
Yes.
But in the Arabic language, alim, anyone who knows something. Now, does everybody who knows something fear Allah? No, that will be the whole humanity. Even if we put it down, this is just the knowledge of Islam. The Quran talks about Islam, about religion. Does everybody who knows Islam fears Allah? We know that actually the opposite.
Yes.
The people, the more knowledge they acquire in religion, they are more likely to use it to buy dunya and to become just magicians for the leaders, trying to defend them. That's what we see, that we have seen before. That is what Allah warned us about in the Quran. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْأَحْبَارِ وَالرُّهْبَانِ لَيَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ النَّاسِ بِالْبَاطِلِ. O you who believe, a lot of ahbar, monks, and rabbis, and monks, لَيَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ النَّاسِ بِالْبَاطِلِ. They eat the property of people without any due right. وَيَصُدُّونَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And they drive away from the way of Allah. Because when people see them, what they are doing, they think, oh, if this is the religion, we don't want it. That is what happens. You see the people when they acquire religion, they use it just to get business, money. They use it to write books and sell it, and they write on it copyright. You are not allowed to read my book unless you pay. The book which contains the words of Allah. They stop people from reading it. That is what the ulama do, what we call ulama today. And before, actually, most of the ulama, that is how they are. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna kathiran, a lot of ahbar and rahban. And if he say, this is for Bani Israel and the Christian, not for the Muslims, I will tell you, okay, but Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith of Abi Sa'id al-Khudri, لا تتبعن سنن من كان قبلكم. You will follow the ways of those that are before you. And that is what happens. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, really, the ulama, those who have knowledge, don't fear Allah. Not everybody who has knowledge of religion fears Allah. It's the other way around. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who fear Allah, Allah gave them this name, ulama. They deserve this name, ulama. And if you don't actually agree about that, the hadith says, Al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya. The weak hadith says, Al-ulama are the inheritance of the prophets. وَإِنَّ الْأَنْبِيَاءَ لَمْ يُوَرِّثُوا دِرْهَمًا وَلَا دِينَارًا. And the prophets have not left behind them a dinar or dirham. No money. وَإِنَّمَا وَرَّثُوا الْعِلْمِ. They have left behind knowledge. Now what is knowledge? Is it Quran and Sunnah? It's the Quran, it's the Kitab. That is the knowledge that they have left behind. They didn't leave anything behind. The Prophet ﷺ, when he died, he left Quran and the Sunnah. تركت حديث ضعيف تركت فيكم ما إن تمسكتم به من بعد. I have left in amongst you that what if you hold into, you will not be misguided. Yeah, hadith is ضعيف anyway in Muslim Ahmad. There are similar hadith that Rasul ﷺ in Muslim, he made a speech in Khum and he said, إنما أنا رسول إنما أنا بشر. I am just human being. Soon the messenger of my Lord will come and they will answer the death. وإني تارك فيكم ما إن تمسكتم به فلن تضلوا من بعدي. I will leave amongst you what if you hold on to, you will not be misguided after me. Kitabullah, the book of Allah. Now that is the inheritance that the Prophet have left. And that is the ayah that I have said, that Rasulullah said, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. Indeed, those who fear Allah are ulama. Now if you read that ayah will be in Surah Fatir 28, well, the wrong translation, because it says, it is only those who have knowledge among his slaves that fear Allah. Yeah? Now if we take it that way, so we say every Muslim fears Allah in a way or another. Because the person who doesn't fear Allah will not go to Jannah. Isn't it? So let's say we take it that understanding. Those who fear Allah, those who have knowledge, fear Allah. So the person who says La ilaha illallah is afraid of Allah.
By definition.
So that's why Allah will take him to Jannah at the end. So those who fear Allah, those who have knowledge, fear Allah. So these are the ulama. Every Muslim is a alim. And then, that is the ayah in Surah Fatir 28. Now, in 32, the ayah in the same surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, then we gave the book. We said the prophets have left the book to be inherited. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, then we gave the book as inheritance to such of our slaves whom we choose. Between brackets, the followers of Muhammad, the Muslims. It is right. When Allah explains who they are, you will see that they are all the Muslims. And then Allah says, then of them are some who wrong themselves. Ourselves. And of them are some who follow a middle course. And of them are some who are, by Allah leave, foremost in good deeds. That is indeed a great grace. So that is the ulama that have been inherited the books. Every Muslim. That three categories, the muhsinin and the muqtasidin and ظالمين لأنفسهم, those who wrong themselves and those who take the middle course, just keeping with the obligations and keeping away from haram without doing any further mandubat recommended matters, and those who are like racing towards the pleasure of Allah. All this covers all kind of Muslims. These are the people who have been inherited the book. So sometimes these liars, we don't know if this is a made up hadith. Every weak hadith there is a possibility that it is made up, or probably it is a saying of one other than the Prophet and people attribute it to the Prophet. Now this weak hadith sometimes, most of the time, turns out to work against what they like. They bring them to try to justify something, and turns out to be against them.
One last question, Sheikh.
Yes.
There are some groups who argue that we're required to follow the Salaf.
Yes.
Citing Surah 9 verse 100 as evidence. Is this correct?
Surah Tawbah, you mean?
Yes.
Surah Tawbah, which is the ayah وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُم بِإِحْسَانٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, اتَّبِعُوا مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُم مِّن رَبِّكُم. Follow what has been revealed to you from your Lord. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا مِن دُونِهِ أَوْلِيَاءَ. Don't follow other than without his permission, min dunihi, awliya, taking other as friends, or you just follow what is revealed to you from your Lord. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ. Obey Allah and obey His Prophet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to obey the Prophet because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى. He doesn't speak from his own desire. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَى. So we are just following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we follow the Prophet. Now, anyone who brings a condition, he has to explain where he got it from. Did the Prophet say that we have to follow the Sahaba? Did Allah say we have to follow the Sahaba? Allah said, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ. And the Sabiqun, if you know the translation, and you can help me with it, it will be good. But if you don't, then what happens is, I will find it inshallah here, and the foremost to embrace Islam of the Muhajirun, those who immigrated from Mecca to Medina, and the Ansar, citizens of Al-Madinah, who helped and gave aid, and those and also those who followed them exactly, between brackets, in faith. Allah is well pleased with them, and they are well pleased with Him. He has prepared for them gardens under which rivers flow, to dwell therein forever. That is the supreme success. Now, there is السابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار. That is from the Muhajirin, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. From the Ansar, we have Abu Talha. He helped the Prophet, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Sa'd ibn Ubadah. These are the Al-Awwalin, Muhajirin Al-Awwalin, Sabiqin, the first. وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُهُم بِإِحْسَانٍ. And those who follow them. Do you know the Tabi'ina bi-Ihsan? The Tabi'ina bi-Ihsan actually is not the Tabi'in that we use the term Tabi'in for. That will be the Sahaba.
Yes.
That will be Khalid ibn al-Walid, who was not Muslim at the beginning, Ibn Abbas, Mughira ibn Shu'ba, Amr ibn al-As. These are the Tabi'in because they were late in accepting Islam. And actually there is some Sabiqun al-Awwaluna min al-Muhajirin wal-Ansar who are not Sahabi, from Sahaba. Najashi was from the Ansar. He gave shelter to the Muslims, and he was from the Sabiqin when Islam was weak, and so he has a greater position than some Sahaba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, لا يستوي منكم من أنفق من قبل الفتح وقاتل. They are not equal amongst you, those who have spent before the Fath and they fought. That's what exactly Najashi has done with his people, fighting them to accept Islam, and he gave shelter to the Muslims. And he is one of the people of Jannah. When he died, the Prophet with wahi, because he wouldn't have known in the same day. He said, رَجُلٌ صَالِحٌ توفي اليوم رجل صالح. Today a pious person has died. You understand? So it is the سابقين الأولي والذين تبعهم بإحسان, and whoever follows them
Yes.
until the day of judgment. بإحسان, with good. So they are, in a way, in this ayah, they are put all in one position. From the Sahaba until the day of judgment. In this ayah, they are put in one position. We know that the Sahabi's degree is better than the degree of anyone who comes after him.
Yes.
Not someone who comes before him.
Sure.
Because some tabi'in came before him. They have never seen the Prophet, but they have great degrees with Allah. Now, this ayah, it doesn't tell us to have to follow them. It does tell us that those who follow them, bi-ihsan, in the good,
In the good.
in the excellent things that they have done. How do we know what wrong things they have done and what good things they have done, except by going back to the Quran? If you go to Surah Tur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those who believe. وَاتَّبَعَتْهُمْ ذُرِّيَّتُهُمْ بِإِيمَانٍ, and their offspring follow them with iman. Does this ayah say that you have to follow your father and mother? Doesn't. It just tells us that those who are believers, just like that ayah,
Sure.
same thing.
Yes.
If you say in the first ayah that people have to follow the sabiqin al-awwali, in this ayah you have to say that people have to follow their parents. But it doesn't. You can't say that.
You can't.
Yeah, that ayah actually, it's not an order to follow the Sahaba. If you want to follow the Sahaba, if you really want to follow the Sahaba, don't follow them. And therefore, that is the way to follow them. If you want to follow the Sahaba, follow what Allah have said and the Prophet only.
Only.
Because that is what the Sahaba said.
Precisely.
If people keep saying, Ibn Abbas say, soon stones will come over you. I tell you, Allah and His Prophet said, and you say Abu Bakr and Umar. You want to follow Ibn Abbas, do this. Look at what he has said. Umar ibn Khattab, the day when Abu Bakr was elected, before that he said something. The following day, he stood up on the minbar, on the pulpit, and he said, oh people, today I have said something, yesterday I have said something, but after careful thought, I found it not to be in the book of Allah, or anything that the Prophet have said. And this is the book that Allah has given you. It's between your hand.
Yeah.
Follow it. You will be guided. So he actually, after thinking and realizing that what he said was not from the book of Allah, the saying of the Prophet, he just retracted. So you want to follow Umar? Do that. Don't follow him if he can't bring proof. Because if he stayed until, if he thought about it again, you know that he is going to say, don't take it. So don't take it. That is how you follow the Sahaba and the, following.
And even today, the majority of people who push their side here, they don't come with any textual evidence from the Quran or Sunnah. It's predominantly rational.
No,
linking.
just weak hadiths. Or hadith that are misunderstood, such as عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين. This is one very hadith, very famous hadith that they will bring. This hadith is weak as well. This hadith is the hadith of Abdurrahman bin Amr al-Sulami, who is, you won't find anyone who said he is trustworthy. However, you will find that Ibn al-Qattan have said about him that he is majhul. There is another person, narrator of this hadith, Hujr ibn Hujr. He is as well known to be unknown.
Okay.
Ibn al-Qattan said same thing, and no one have said that he is trustworthy. And then there is another person called Yahya ibn Abi al-Mutah narrating this hadith, that Yahya ibn Abi al-Mutah, actually, according to Duhaym, that he never heard the hadith from al-Irbad, so it's broken. A broken hadith is considered to be weak unanimously. That is because, of course, we don't know where he got it from. We don't know the person between him and al-Irbad, so that hadith will be weak. Yet, if the hadith was sahih, follow the sunnah, my sunnah, and the sunnah of the Khulafa al-Rashidin. Who are the Khulafa al-Rashidin? And what kind of sunnah you are going to follow from the Khulafa al-Rashidin? I mean, if you look at Umar ibn Khattab, and Abu Bakr, and Uthman, and Ali, bring me one matter. I challenge you to bring me one matter that people say it's not in the religion. Because every matter is in the religion. But people say there are matters that are not in the religion. Bring me one matter that is not in the religion, that Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali have agreed about. Now if they have divided, If you have a different opinion, who are you going to follow now from these four? The hadith doesn't say. If you say Abu Bakr because he is the best, we say Umar ibn Khattab because he is the most knowledgeable. But what the Prophet said about him. So, or Ali because Aqdahum Ali hadith is weak anyway. But yes, that hadith is weak. The meaning of it, if it was sahih, that you have to follow the Khulafa al-Rashidin. The Khalifa has to be obeyed. There are matters in the religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us has clarified everything. He ordered us to do jihad. But who can decide when and where? The Khulafa al-Rashidin, the supreme leader can decide. You can't just, everybody will say, I want to do jihad here or jihad there. The leader has, so you have to follow the Khulafa. But who are the Khulafa al-Rashidin? I said, every Muslim who is not to be fasiq is a Rashid. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that in Surah Al-Hujurat. وَحَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ He made it love to you, believe. Like he made it loved to yourself. The Iman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it loved to yourself. وَكَرَّهَ إِلَيْكُمْ And He made it hateful to you. وَكَرَّهَ إِلَيْكُمْ الْكُفْرِ Disbelief. وَالْكُفْرَ وَالْفُسُوقِ And fusuq, the rebellion against Allah orders. وَالْعِسْيَانِ And disobedience. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الرَّاشِدُونَ Those who have these characteristics are the Rashidun. So that will be Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali and inshallah Muawiyah. From apparently how he was, why we don't say he is, because the Prophet never said that he is from the people of Jannah. So we can't say, if we say he is Rashid, if we say someone who is Alim, these matters can be known only if you can see the heart of someone.
Correct.
Unless Allah have said, then we have to accept it.
Of course.
Inshallah, amongst these will be Umar ibn Abdul Aziz and some of Bani Umayyah, some of Bani al-Abbas that were not known to be fasiq. So you have to follow them. It doesn't mean now they are going to make religion, because the religion was completed. The religion was completed not the day the Prophet was dead. The day the Prophet was standing in Arafah and this ayah was revealed to him, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ. That day the religion was completed. There was a period of time where the Prophet was there after the religion was completed. There is no necessity that Allah will take him the day the religion.
Sure. Yeah.
Nobody can make that decision.
Absolutely.
So he stayed, but the religion was completed then. After that, nobody can make something haram without proving it.
Correct.
And everything is halal under the general rule. خَلَقَ لَكُم مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا سَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا مِنْهُ. The fact that Allah says قَدْ فَصَّلَ لَكُم مَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُم. He has detailed for you what is forbidden for you. That every time someone comes and say this is haram, you say bring the details.
Correct. Agreed. I think that sums it up then. Jazakallah khairan, Ilyas, for divulging the information and giving us a clear explanation of Ijazah. And inshallah, hopefully the listeners at home, the viewers.
الحمد لله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وله الحمد في الآخرة وهو الحكيم الخبير يعلم ما يلج في الأرض وما يخرج منها وما ينزل من السماء وما يعرج فيها وهو الرحيم الغفور